He's come a long way. Very proud of him. Very proud. It's funny to read things that you write. 12 weeks and he's 5.77 centimetres from head to toe. There were very big highs and very big lows. Gosh. But it was very, looking back, it was very lonely because we didn't have anyone to turn to or reference. We seemed to be dealing with it alone and didn't have anyone to compare it to. So yes, it was, but wouldn't have missed having him for the world.
Found out Eden was different when he was 4 days old, when the paediatrician came into the room and he just held him up and said, "Do you notice anything odd about your child?" Which is not a very nice way to start a conversation. I didn't think there was anything odd because I thought all babies look like E.T. We were whipped off to Great Ormond Street that day for genetic testing and they found out he had a chromosome defect, which is called partial trisomy 9. And that's when everything just started to spiral out of control. From that moment on, our world kind of crashed.
This time last year, we toasted in a new year with Eden. And we're about to toast in another new year with Eden. This is your second new year.
He was verbal until he had his MMR jab. He was verbal. He was starting to say words and then that disappeared. He does, as I say, go mm-hmm, and it's very deep and I'm thinking, because it has broken, it's strange, his sounds have broken into a male voice, a man's voice. I'd love to know what he sounds like. Yes. I wrote a letter to who I presume was the right person to write to at local authority, expressing my feelings and wants and desires. I never got a reply. And then about 6 months later, a social worker came in and just said, right, if you can't manage, we'll put him into foster care. And, well, I won't express my language, asking the lady to leave my home, because that's not what I was asking for. We first met a particular paediatrician in 2005 and she mentioned this place down in Surrey that she thought he should go to, and I just closed my ears. I didn't want to know about it, and every 6 months when we, as I say, we visited her, she would introduce the subject. And then in 2012 she got us down to this particular school on false pretenses, I've always believed, for an assessment of his health, and I gradually came around to thinking maybe. And the first time I took him down to go into the school, I'll never forget, I drove back on the M25. I shouldn't say this. I was crying so much I missed the exit to come home and had to go round a few more to get back on. I cried and cried and cried.
Hello, Eden, it's nice to see you here. Hello, Eden, it's nice to see you here. Hello, your turn? Hello. Okay, right.
I find people, their reaction to me about the decision I made, very shocking. I'm very surprised that, as if I'm rejecting my son. Which I'm not, far from it. I cry every time I leave him.
How does that sound? Quite nice? Progress to you would seem very, very small. It's things that we absolutely take for granted. It's getting dressed, it's getting washed, it's allowing people to brush you brushing your teeth, learning how to do that. And so what we've worked on since September are his independence skills. And that really is like helping us get him dressed, putting his arms into the coat, knowing to put his backpack on when he's going back up to the house at the end of the day or at lunchtime. For Eden, it's socialisation as well, and awareness of other people around him and what they're doing, and actually having fun. You can feel what that texture's like. But we're not going to eat that. Let's just wipe your hand. It's progress for us when he's in the toilet and he's cooperating, you know, and helping us, putting his foot into his trousers or into his shoe, turning on the tap, turning off the tap to wash his hands, getting used to those simple routines.
From the moment he arrived there, it was as if his world had just opened up. He's processing so that he's figuring things out, and he is much calmer, believe it or not, and it's the way that they've taught him and understanding him and helping him to communicate in his way, and when he's having a meltdown, how to deal with it, which when they tell you how, it makes sense, but it didn't make sense beforehand. And when they say it, you go, gosh, that is so obvious. Why didn't we do that in the first place? But he's just totally changed.
We were really fortunate that at Eden School, there was a member of staff there who gave us some training on an approach called intensive interaction. The school have really worked with us to develop the skills that we need to kind of work with Eden in this approach. So we use intensive interaction when we go and play with him, and it's very calm, very low arousal, very loving. It's a kind of interaction when you have a newborn baby and you coo at them and you mimic the sounds that they make and the movements that they do. That's essentially intensive interaction, because you're building relationships and encouraging communication.
Never gets easier. It's a different easier. It's last week when I took him back after half term, all week he'd been very clingy to me and wanted to be with me, and then the minute he arrives back at his house that he boards at, he kind of walked off, ran off, and I was history. So there was a part of me that was happy that he's happy to be back there, and there's another little piece of me that thinks, I'm going to miss him. I have been known to drive all the way down just to watch him walk to school. I hide behind trees and cars just watching him, so I get reassurance that as much as I'm missing him, he's happy. And that's the most important thing to me, is his happiness. I'm very fortunate that I had a very interesting life before Eden came along. So I have no regrets that I haven't been there, done it, got the t-shirt. Have, and now it's time to look after Eden. I couldn't go away and enjoy myself knowing that he is where he is. Even though he's happy, don't get me wrong, but it would be, I'm giving in to my critics saying, oh look, there she goes, off having a good time. I do get lonely when Eden's away. As much as I can be lonely when Eden's here, being his non-verbal. I think, and this is a very strange reply, I think I'm more lonely when he's here than when he's not, because there's no verbal communication. If everything's in its place, then life might be okay. That's how I deal with it. Before I go to bed at night, if everything's where it should be, then life might be organised. If Eden had been normal, regular, whatever the word you want to use, maybe I'd live in total mess, because I love going into homes that are total mess. To me, those are the best homes. But unfortunately, by keeping it neat and tidy, then life might be neat and tidy. And that is the way I deal with it. So this is Eden's bedroom, and it looks like this at the moment, but when he comes home it's all changed. He doesn't like pillows on his bed. He's got a thing about pillows, so if I don't take them off the bed, he throws them down the stairs, so we have to get rid of that. When I'm bringing Eden home from school, I feel like it's Christmas Day every time. I love it. I can't wait. I'm like a child on Christmas morning. I'm so excited and so bubbly. So the first thing he will do when he comes in, he will check maybe the view, check his bed's okay, or he might come over to these bottles. He picks them up, takes them to the landing and throws them over the stairs as if to say he's branded his room. This is my room, not happy. If I left the room like this, it would be, well, where's Eden? Oh, is he downstairs? Whereas I know that it's putting everything to bed, excuse the pun, and knowing it's not quite his room, but he will be returned. I can only do the best I can do, but I've got no guidance. There's no handbook that comes with this. Originally, when I was planning his life, I was younger and thought I'd be around forever. And as you get older, you realise you're not going to be around forever. And you're just trying to plan his future, that he'll always be around people who love and care for him. One parent once said to me, with a special needs child, I hope my child dies before me, so that I know they're being looked after. Well, that I'm around to look after them. I don't wish that. I want Eden to live as long as possible and as healthy and happy as possible, but I've just got to somehow figure out how I can control it when I'm not here, if you know what I mean, which I'm asking for the impossible.